Hi everyone, my name is Sayed Jaffrey. I'm certified in ICA, certified in CISI, and I train for investment banking operation course at FPA EduTech. So today we will be looking at the course outline, course details, and who all can do this course and what value addition you will be getting post completion of the course. So let's go to the FPA website. This is fpa.edu.in and this is our home page. So when I click on the courses, you see different courses offered by FPA, like we are the certified training partner for ACCA, we are certified training partner for CMA, CFP, CFA, and we train for CISI. So talking about the CISI, this is the home page. Let's look at the key highlights of the course. So when I say about the key highlights of the course, when we are talking about the global chartered, because CISI body is a global chartered, recognized by 68 regulators, and they have their availability in 116 countries. They cater mostly into the financial services industry, more into capital markets, risk, compliance, and support functions. There are certain mandatory modules by the regulators in certain jurisdictions, certain countries, which if we are working on those profiles, we need to complete those modules within the given timeline. So this course can be completed within 3 to 6 months, depending which batch you're joining. So if you're joining weekdays batch, you can complete your 3 modules within 3 months. And if you're joining weekend batch, as most of the working professionals, they prefer to join on the weekend. So they can complete the course within 6 months. The classes are online and offline. Offline we have set up available at Borivali office, Mumbai. But usually professionals, they prefer online classes. They do not go for the offline classes. And when I say online classes, these are not the recorded classes. These are the live classes where we understand, we discuss, and we study together. It's not that I'm training you. It's we study together, we understand, and we discuss case studies. Talking about the passing rate, I have the 85% passing rate, and the average compensation for a fresher can be 4.5 lakhs. Right now we have certain mandates where undergrad can get 3.5 lakhs plus additional perks, and 5.5 lakhs are available for MBA grads plus additional perks. So I'll be talking about those additional perks in the later stage of the video. Now when we say why we should do this course, or why CISI, or why I should work in the global banking or investment banking industry. So when I say global investment banking operation, I'm not talking about the retail banks. I'm talking about the top world best organizations which have been creating opportunities in India for most of the professionals who are working. I myself, I have worked for almost 8.5 years. I have worked in the Northern Trust, I have worked in the State Street, I have worked in the HSBC. The culture they offer, the opportunities they offer, the additional perks they offer are unmatchable. Let's talk about the Northern Trust Corporation, okay? So again, Northern Trust, they offer custody services. And Northern Trust Asset Management, it's an AMC, asset management company, okay? Both are different entities, both are separate legal entities. If anyone is confused about the structure of the organization, I have covered in another video. You can go through that video. So someone who is joining at analyst level. So let's take the figures which I'm taking are hypothetical, does not have any relation with any organization. The average compensation which is offered to a fresher in the financial services industry to an undergrad is around 3.5 lakh. This will be a fixed. From this, there will be deduction of PF. There will be deduction of taxes. So rest whatever is, that is net amount we get, okay? So if you're working with a domestic firm, These are the perks you'll be getting. But let's say you work with a global bank like Northern Trust, JP Morgan, and other global banks. So what are the differentiating factors why people work with them? So the additional perks which you can expect. The first thing which they offer is transport. Another thing which they offer is food allowance. Next thing which they offer is shift allowance. Next thing which they offer is health plus term insurance. I'll talk about these points. Okay, the transport. There are certain companies which offer one-way transport. There are certain companies which offer two-way transport. And someone who is not interested to take transport, or let's say someone who stays close by, someone who is having their own vehicle, what they can do, they can opt out of transport, and usually they get around 4.5 to 5K per month. Okay, so talking about the additional allowance or additional perks, the first one which I'm covering is transport. So professionals who are not inclined to take transport or who stays nearby, they can opt out of the transport, and these companies, there are certain companies which will be giving you transport allowance, and the allowance would be around 4.5 to 5K per month, and this will roughly, it will come to 60K. Now talking about food allowance, in food allowance, usually these organizations, they offer Sodexo meal card or other meal cards. Okay, so the amount which you can expect is 1,000 to 1,500 rupees per month. So let's keep it 12K. Now talking about shift allowance. A shift allowance depends on the shift. So I have worked in the APAC shift, I have worked in the EMEA shift, I have worked in American shift, US shift, I have worked in the Australian shift. So every shift have different money per month. So let's take roughly, if you're working in a US shift, so you can expect 6K per month. So let's keep this as a, again, lower side 5K. So another, this will be 60K. Now talking about health plus term insurance, almost 8.5 years I have worked in the corporate. I have worked with the different global banks, and due to that reason, me, my family and my parents were covered in the health insurance and term insurance. Precisely health insurance was the key focus. But now when I joined FPA EduTech, when I started searching for my parents that what would be the insurance premium. So individually my father's premium, which I have got from the consultant, is 40,000 rupees for an year, and the cover would be 15 lakh. So now we know that how expensive these things are. Let's keep this as a, let's say they are paying this as a 20K. Now if we add up everything, so it's 60, 60, 20. Let me write here 60 plus 60 plus 20 plus 12. So this will come 120 plus 20, 40, 152K. So now coming to 3.5, 350 plus 150, let's give 150, okay? So we are at now there are organizations which will be offering you a CTC of 5 lakhs per annum, but they will include everything in their CTC. With the global banks, things are different. Even at 3.5 lakh CTC will be coming to 5.5 lakh. So this is another value addition, and along with this, you get an opportunity to interact with the professionals who are at top level, working with diversified background professionals. And these organizations, they do sponsor courses like CFA, CISI, FRM, IRM, ICA based on the vertical in which you work. So I myself have been sponsored by HSBC for ICA, International Compliance Association. Let's go back to our website. One second. So here we were at FPA. We were discussing about CISI course. Now we have discussed about the great job prospects and higher stability jobs in Global Investment Bank. We have the clarity that why you should be doing this course. Now the question comes, why CISI? Why not any other course? There are certain courses, short-term courses available in the market. If you ask me personally, based on my experience, based on my conversation in the industry, based on my mentors' guidance, they have always been telling that when you're doing any upskilling, try to do relevant skills. Try to invest your time and money in the skills which are sustaining in the market, and try to look for something which is recognized globally. So CISI is recognized globally. What all they cover? They cover operations, wealth management, compliance, capital market, corporate finance, financial planning, and Islamic finance. These are different modules. They have in total 20 modules which they cover. CISI syllabus is revised every year, written by the practitioners and reviewed by the industry leaders. They have a study material focused for the Indian market. Recently, I have appeared for global securities operation, and the settlement cycle for Indian equity market has changed to T+1. And when I was reviewing that workbook, in that workbook, it was mentioned as T+1. So they are up to date. They are globally portable. They have their existence in 116 countries. We have option of remote learning. As I mentioned, that wherever you are sitting doesn't matter to us. All you need to do is log into the Zoom and we can start learning together. Recognition and employability. So even CISI have partnership with most of these global banks. They assist with the placement. We at FPA, we have a placement cell dedicated, which will help you that you're achieving your desired and dream opportunities. Practical and relevant. Okay, so this is one of the favorite area which I personally believe. So in each level, when we are discussing syllabus, I'll talk about that in more details. But in each chapter, there will be case studies given to you, which will help you during the interviews. Instant result with computer-based testing. Okay, so no negative marking. Instant result, as you have submitted your examination, your results are declared instantly. And specialist knowledge, I have already covered this. Career pathways, we have fundamental of financial services. Then we have international introduction to investments. And then based on the interest area in which you want to go, you can choose next level. The certificate which we are offering is called as Investment Operations Certificate. Now the question comes, why FPA? So here you can see we are covering 100 hours of classroom training. We have weekdays and weekend classes. We have 100% placement assistance. The best thing which I personally believe is post-placement mentorship. We are not talking about the placement. Placement anyways you will be getting because you have invested your time, you're globally recognized, you're globally accepted. But post-placement, you will need someone who can hold your hand. So we will be there for you for next 6 months to make you understand that you are not diverting from your purpose. Whatever question you have, it can be stupid, it can be illogical. You have all rights to reach out to your mentor and discuss with them. Talking about the eligibility criteria, that students who have cleared their 12th standard in India and associate degree outside of India, because in outside they do not recognize 12th, they have associate degree after 10th. So it's an 11 months diploma. So they can appear for the examination, but I'll be highly focused on the professionals or aspirants, those who want to get into the investment banking roles, those who want to work with the world best firms. So if you're studying BCom, BAF, BFM, BBA, or BA Economics, having CISI along with your undergrad gives you an opportunity to talk to your hiring manager in a manner that you have invested your time, you are globally recognized, you are globally accepted, and you know what you need to do on the floor. This gives an extra edge during interview, even for the shortlisting. So you can do it. And professionals are aspirants who have cleared their graduation, they're working in different segment, a different sector. They want to come to financial services industry. For them, again, this can be a pathway. And people who are doing MBA finance. So I always, whenever I visit to the MBA finance colleges for the guest lecture or the career counseling session with the future industry leaders, I always ask them a question that post completion of MBA finance, where are you going to place them? And most of the colleges in India, they place them into the sales roles after completion of MBA finance. I'm talking about these retail banks, domestic banks, where you are hired as a relationship manager. I'm not saying those are not good roles. I myself have worked with HDFC Bank as a relationship manager. I was managing classic portfolio. Roles are really amazing, but if you do not enjoy sales, this can be an icebreaker for you. With this certification, you can work with the global banks on the operations side. Now, looking on the syllabus. This syllabus covers different aspects. First aspect is CISI. But the question is CISI, Investment Operations Certificate, enough to get you placed and sustain in the market for next, let's say, 5 to 6 years or next 10 years? Because every third or fourth year, we need to upskill ourselves if we want to stay relevant. But is CISI Investment Operations Certificate only sustainable? Looking at the dynamic changes in the financial services industry, the emergence of artificial intelligence has shown us that if we are not tech savvy, there will be challenges. So let me cover the CISI syllabus first. So the first module which we are covering is Introduction to Securities and Investment International. This module talks about the introduction part, talks about the financial services industry participants, their roles, different markets we cater, different financial products and contracts we will be using in the upcoming chapters. Chapter 2 talks about economic environment, where we discuss about the inflation, key indicators, balance of payment, and those relevant areas which we as an industry aspirant should be aware. From chapter 3, the technical understanding starts. So equities, stocks covers basics of the equity, depository receipt. It also covers car protection and impact of car protection on the equity shares. In bonds, we talk about bonds, different types of bonds. We talk about yield, current yield, flat yield. We talk about interest rate, and we also do bond valuation. We discuss the case studies of the securitization, 2008 financial crisis in the bonds. But in equities, there will be a mandatory case study for you to work on the last year's top 10 successful IPOs and top 10 unsuccessful IPOs. We cover IPO in detail, but you need to prepare that case study and you need to discuss with everyone. Now, talking about other financial assets, this covers your cash, this covers your money market, this covers your real estate property. Derivatives, we cover futures, options, and swaps. Forwards are not covered in this curriculum, but I will be training you on the forward, future, option, swaps. When I say up to what depth about the contract, their practical implementation, and in certain cases, the the calculations. Like we talk about futures, we calculate mark to market, we understand the impact of mark to market, we understand where the margin calls are required and different margins calculated. In options, we calculate the payoffs, we understand in which position we are in the money, in which position we are at the money, and in which position we are out of money. In swaps, we cover interest rate swaps with calculations, credit default swaps. We also cover FX swap. Now, investment funds, this talks about the different structures of the organization. Either it is open-ended organization or it is closed-ended organization or funds. It covers that. It also covers alternative investment. It talks about hedge funds. It talks about private equity. It talks about real estate. Now, financial services regulation, this is pertaining to regulation, different regulations which are pertaining to the industry. And along with that, this talks about the ethics. Other financial products, again, in this we cover certain areas which are important. Financial advice is more about the financial advice, financial planning. And exam standard mock practice. The examination would be of 50 questions. Out of 50 questions, to clear the examination, you need 35 correct. Sounds scary, but not for me. The reason being that we have internal quality control where you need to get 90% to appear for the examination. We have unlimited mock practice in our learning management system. We have LMS in which after post session, within next 2 hours, the recordings are available for you to revisit. And we have a support system. We have unlimited mock support. This talks about the introductory module. The next module which we have is global securities operation. So the chapter 1 securities is in depth, that talks about most of the topics covered in level 1. Main industry participants, again in detail about the industry participants, roles of the participants, their do's and don'ts, and the markets in which they work. Settlement characteristics talks about more on the settlements, in which market, which instrument is settling on which date. And what are the key characteristics of the settlement? What are the reasons for the failure of the settlement? What are the fines, regulatory fines, which can be imposed in the settlement? Other investor services talks about more on the custody services, the custody fee calculation, and different areas which are important from. Aspect of taxation, this talks about taxation more from the European region and bilateral treaties. We discuss in detail about the withholding tax in this. Again, risk is talking about the trade life cycle risk. In different stages, what are the different risks which can be incurred? Now, same pattern, 50 questions, and out of 50 questions, you need 35 correct. And as we mentioned earlier, the result will be declared instantly once you appear for the examination. This is another module which is globally accepted and recognized from the CISI IOC point of view. So this talks about risk basics, other major risks, the nature of operational risk arising in trade life cycle, the support and control functions, operational risk in regulatory environment. So basically in this we talk about the operational risk, different instances which happened in the operational risk, and what are the reasons behind that. We discuss case studies, we understand, and we analyze, and we ensure that once you are going to the floor, once you're working in the organization, you are well prepared to understand that what actions can lead to financial losses, reputational losses of the organization, and what are the expectations from you being as a professional. This is something which will make you relevant to the industry and which will allow you to sustain in the market. Most of the employment opportunities in India right now are of the fund accounting. I have seen the growth of Citco Financial Services. I have seen the growth of Apex Financial Services. And there are other global banks. JP Morgan have their own fund administration. State Street is one of the largest fund administrator. We have other fund administrators, even Northern Trust, they offer fund administration services. BNY Mellon also offers fund administration services along with custody services. Most of these global banks, they offer fund administration services. So when I say fund administration services, precisely what we should know in the fund accounting. We are not covering everything. We are covering more from the alternative investment space. We will be discussing about the traditional assets. We will be discussing about mutual funds. We will be discussing about the pension funds. But alternative will be the key focus area because most of the employment opportunities are in alternative space. There will be in detail discussion about the hedge fund accounting, private equity accounting, and real estate accounting. When I say in detail, it comes with the case studies, it comes with the examples, it comes with the simulations, and you will be required to calculate those NAVs. The next one we will be discussing about the option strategies, end-to-end trade lifecycle, exchange and OTC, portfolio calculations, computation of NAV, management and performance fee, hurdle rates and waterfall calculation, corporate action case studies, and reconciliation case studies. Okay, so now you have seen majority of the curriculum, and you are like, what is this additional skills? And why are we discussing this? Because even that, fund accounting and CISI does not cover technology side. And we at FPA, we do not believe in giving something which is not complete. So there are certain important areas which are missing. So working in the financial services industry, I understand the importance of advanced Excel. So we will be training you on the macros. We will be training on the VBAs. And we will be training you on the Python for finance. So here you can see it is mentioned as self-learning, but we will be arranging sessions for you. The trainer are certified trainers. They'll be training you. They'll be giving you case studies. So case studies are projects are self-learning. You need to complete that. You need to submit that. And we do not believe in training something which you need to write on your resume. The purpose of these trainings are very simple, that you can implement those in real life. Every training is pertaining to the real-time case studies, real-time projects. Personal branding, LinkedIn profile optimization. Another area which most of the professionals, they feel is not important, but LinkedIn profile optimization and personal branding is one of the key area which we as a professional should be focused from day one. Because both of these are connected with networking. And we are working in a global banking ecospace. Your growth depends on your network. And if your LinkedIn profile is properly optimized, you're writing content which is relevant to the industry, you will see support coming from the industry. So our mentors, you will see my name, you see Yukti, you see our Kirtan Shah, he is our CEO, and we have Jitinder, he is a CFA. All of these professionals have either worked in the finance or they are training finance. They are globally certified professionals. They understand what finance is, what investment banking is. Still you have questions, all you need to do is connect with us. Go to our website, you know where you need to go. You need to go to fpa.edu.in, go to the courses, and in the drop down you need to select CISI. And we do not charge for the counseling. Your counseling is absolutely free. And if you need guidance in your career transition, or if you are struggling with your career growth, if you're stuck in the same role for, let's say, more than 2 years, connect with us. We are happy to guide, we are happy to understand, we are happy to analyze. And if this course is right course for you, then only we will recommend. Or else, you would have seen here, we train for ACCA, we train for CPA, we train for CMA, we train for CFP. So we have all other courses which are required for your professional growth. Thank you so much. We'll meet you in the next video.